And that is when everything changed. Hello everyone, my name is Olamide. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and if you are not new here, well, welcome back. Today is a day I've been waiting for what feels like a century. I'm finally going to get my first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm getting the Pfizer vaccine. Exactly, yes. And I honestly cannot help but smile. Finally, it has arrived. But 3 things I wanted to cover in this video. First, I wanted to talk about why I'm even able to get this vaccine so early. 2, I want to talk about why I choose to get this vaccine. And 3, I want to take you guys along with me for the journey. So stick around and let's get started. So I graduated from college in May 2019 with a Bachelor's of Science, with a plan to take 2 gap years before entering medical school. One of my goals during my gap year was to find a research opportunity. For all of my fellow STEM graduates, I think you guys can all attest that finding a job in our field right after graduating is very hard. You know, most companies look for people with experience, but how can I get experience if no one will hire me? And it's just like a never-ending cycle. One day I decided to just sit down, put music on, and I spent the entire day applying to research assistant or research coordinator jobs everywhere. Well, a certain distance away from me. And overall, I mostly received a ton of rejections. And this was before I even applied to medical school. So at this point, I'm pretty much not fazed by rejections. It's actually been quite a humbling experience. Finally, I received 1 interview, and 1 interview only out of all of those applications I sent out. And, I went and I found out it was a study regarding infectious diseases that occurs in the hospital. And they were mainly, the emergency department. And they really wanted to focus on HIV and the flu. And my assignment was going to be the flu. And I was like, all right, bet, let's get it. I'm excited, let's do it. And I was hired. And, after, speaking to HR, doing all of my paperwork and all the onboarding stuff, I was finally able to start the first week of March. And that is when everything changed. Shortly after I started this research, all of the research that was happening in the hospital and pretty much every hospital in the country was shut down due to a new infectious disease that has arrived, COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2. And guess whose job it was to study infectious diseases that occurs in the hospital? Me. To be fair, I was given the option to work from home, but I spent so long just trying to get this job, and I was so excited to conduct research that I honestly didn't think about it. I was just like, no, I want to stay in this hospital. I don't want to work from home. I want to be part of the research. There are many different components to my study, but it is clinical research. So overall, my main job was to go and interact with the patients and consent them for our study, tell them what the research is about, tell them why it's important, and gauge whether or not they are interested in being a part of it. And I had to see every single COVID-19 patient, and I only saw COVID-19 patients. Obviously, I was wearing the full PPE. I had my N95 mask. I was wearing PAPR hoods. Safety wasn't a large concern for me, but yeah, that's basically the gist of my study. And initially it was supposed to be just the emergency department, but it extended out to all floors. So I was seeing pediatric patients, neurology patients, cardiology patients, and patients who are in critical care. Initially I was excited. I took my time speaking to everyone. I always asked questions, and I took the time to really get to know each patient. Personally, I love to learn about the lives of other people. My favorite books to read have always been autobiographies because, I think there's kind of something special about getting to hear about the lives of other people, especially when it's drastically different from how I was raised. Or maybe I'm just partially nosy. Who knows? I don't know. And honestly, patient rooms can get pretty lonely. As a patient, you can be there for hours or you can be there for days, and you can never really know when you're gonna leave. So I think that patients really appreciated getting the chance to talk to me or getting to talk to somebody, and I liked being that person for them. And honestly, I found out pretty quickly how aggressive this virus truly was and still is. The patients I was bonding with, I would go and see them later on that day or the next day as part of the research, and they were not the same people I was talking to, whether they suffered a blood clot that resulted in a stroke, or they were put on a ventilator or ECMO, or worst of all, they had passed away. My work extended to seeing patients in the critical care units. This became a regular occurrence for me. And me and all the people I worked with, it reached a point where it was draining, emotionally and physically. I started to feel numb and robotic to what was happening in front of me. Let's not forget, during this time, I was studying for the MCAT. There were many protests occurring around the hospital due to, all of the social injustices that have been brought to our attention this year. So honestly, this entire year has been really exhausting. Really exhausting. And I felt like, when I left the hospital and came home, COVID-19 was impacting people personally and close to me. So I just felt like I could never really get that break from it. And honestly, it was a lot. I wasn't prepared. I feel like no one really trains you for how to deal with situations like this. Maybe it's something that they learn in medical school, but I'm not there yet. So I really had to do it all on my own. Healthcare definitely has its problems, and I feel like working in a clinical environment, I've been able to kind of see more of it. But this experience has made me really respect those who work in it so much more. The doctors, the nurses, the technicians, the environmental service workers, the researchers, showing up every single day to be in this environment is a lot to bear. But seeing the miracles that would occur due to the hard work that they're putting in, due to their resiliency, due to them not giving up, was amazing to see. And I was really grateful to be able to witness it right in front of my eyes. And this year has been rough, but I am so grateful to have been put in this position. I didn't know where I was going to end up when I applied to all of these jobs. I applied to all different types of research positions, but I ended up here doing COVID-19 research. And, I think that there's something really powerful about that, as if I'm meant to be here all along, And because of this experience, I feel like I've truly grown as a communicator, as a learner, as a listener. And I'm really looking forward to going to medical school so that I can take what I've learned from this experience and expand on it so that I can be a better physician. For me, this vaccine is like the light that I have been waiting for, I feel like I've just been living in darkness and I can finally see where the light is, a sense of hope that so many of us have just been waiting for. And I trust the work that's been put in. I've done the research. I have spoken to virologists, and I am looking forward to taking this vaccine today. I'm ready to move on to the next stages of making this world a better place. One that is not consumed with death that has been escalated by a virus, and one that is not filled with missed holidays with family. I miss my mom. I don't care how old I'll get. I'm always going to miss my mom, and I haven't seen her in months. So I'm just ready to give her a hug and give my whole family a hug and, pray and hope for a better tomorrow. So today, I'm going to get that vaccine, and that's a little gist as to what I've been up to, how COVID-19 has impacted me, and why I choose to get this vaccine. So let's get it. All right, guys, we're here. Let's get it done. Yes.
What is your role here?
I'm a research coordinator. I got the vaccine on my arm. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to film it, but I did take a picture of it. So I got the vaccine, took like 2 seconds. Honestly, didn't really feel it. One thing, I thought it was gonna be cold just because I know that they have to store the vaccine in below freezing temperatures, and I thought I would feel it in my body, but I did not. I didn't. Afterwards, I had to go to the side and sit for like 15 minutes. They took my vitals at the start of the 15 minutes, and then they took my vitals again at the end of the 15 minutes to make sure I was all right. And then while I was sitting around, I made my appointment for my next dose, which should be in about 2.5 weeks. So pretty simple process. I feel good. I feel fine right now. Ready to go home and continue on with my day. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. I will catch you guys on my next one. Goodbye.